I was talking to my best friend one day about life and things were really calm and chill. My disclaimer here is that I was decently tired, but I have never hallucinated or been a sleepwalker or anything like that before. It's still plausible that that was a cause, but this felt so different. To continue, randomly in the middle of our conversation, she said that I entered some sort of a trance and everything that I said sounded like I was reading from a script. During this time, I remember opening my eyes and saw an oak desk under me and a paper with words and equations that were all over it. I remember writing with some sort of quill, but it was made of some kind of a weird animal bone, which I couldn't recognize at all. So as this is happening, I'm reading through the scribbling, and then it hits me. A huge wave of excitement and relief, as if I discovered something huge on this paper, and then I wake up. I told my friend about this, and she just suggested that it might be some kind of a past life memory of something that I was working on, and maybe perhaps in this other life I was some kind of an inventor, or perhaps some kind of a scholar. I would throw it all away if not for what happened next. I smiled at her, and I don't remember any of this next part, but after that I started spewing out this excited knowledge at her, and she was smart enough to write it down. Pretty much all I ended up saying was this: our universe is a shadow of another universe, meaning that our 3D world is a shadow or projection of a 4D world. I made it clear that it was possible that our universe might be a shadow of a shadow. The speed of light, quantum entanglement, gravity, other universal laws are all footprints that prove this, and will be shown to the world in the next few years. I made it clear that nature would not allow for a natural speed limit in the highest order universe. All human consciousness in every human is actually of a single being in a higher order universe. This means that we are all connected in a very direct way. We do have free will, and I kept repeating that last part for some reason and stating that if we don't have free will, then the random cosmos would not exist. I'm not sure what that means, but like I said, I just kept on repeating it. After I stopped talking, I would say that I sort of woke up in a way, because I felt that I was somewhat back to normal, somewhat, and I was crying and smiling at her. I explained that I saw my past life and I could feel things that he or that person that I lived as felt, the excitement and whatnot. We talked for a while and she explained everything that I told her and everything she wrote down. So little of it made sense to me, and I'm not completely confused as to where any of that came from. I haven't slept in 2 days, but I'm extremely happy and excited about all of this. It felt so surreal. I'm brand new to Reddit, and after deleting Facebook, I went looking for something to occupy my time with in the downtime of night without having to look at people's food and family pictures. I came across Reddit and immediately went looking for topics that I knew that I would enjoy. The minute that I started reading posts in this area, I swear a light bulb went off, and I now know what happened to me 3 years ago. My husband and I had just bought a new house. It was an older house, but it was new to us, and needless to say, buying a new home puts a damper on the old expenses, so we had been working a lot to try to pay down some debt that we had. I work as a veterinary nurse, and I put in very long hours. Starting out my day at 5 a.m., I was getting ready to go to work, and I grabbed a bagel and a Sunkist from the fridge and set them down on the mantel when I was trying to put on my shoes. I grabbed my keys and coat, and I went outside to start the car because it was a dead of winter and it was below freezing outside. I went outside, and then I went back in and thought, a Sunkist for breakfast? That's a little bit too much, and it's kind of gross. So I went to the mantel to grab it, and I wanted to put it back in the refrigerator. However, when I went to go do that, the Sunkist wasn't there anymore. My bagel was there wrapped in its paper towel and untouched. I looked on the floor near the shoes and even went upstairs to see if my husband had taken it. But he was still snoring away. I was quite confused, but Went to go grab a bottle of water from the fridge because it was a better choice anyways, right? I opened up the fridge and there it was. The Sun-Kissed. All by its lonesome. Not in the organized row with the other sodas, just at the top of the shelf. Right in front of the water bottles. I started to panic. My stomach got really sick and I thought that I was losing my mind. I ran upstairs and I woke up my husband. He obviously was not happy with me waking him up, but I told him, and I had to tell him I didn't have any choice because I didn't know who else to talk to about this. I said, I don't remember putting it back, but I want it back where it was because it's bothering me. It actually messed me up for a few weeks and got me to quit drinking soda altogether. I still remember the feeling and everything when it happened. It was absolutely petrifying. Now I realize that I wasn't in this crazy place, or it wasn't a ghost, or anything like that. It wasn't early onset of dementia. It was a glitch in the matrix. I'm 24 and I'm positive I've jumped to another dimension. I'm not trolling, I'm not joking. I'm dead serious and I need help. I'm new to all of this, and I didn't do this on purpose. So it starts with my little sister's boyfriend. My family swears we knew him before he and her were dating. He has tons of memories with me, but I didn't know him until she brought him home one day. I have no memory of him whatsoever. It bothered me, but I brushed it off. Then my friend Cheyenne was telling me about this time she hung out with me and my friend Ashley, and how we made cheesecake, sang karaoke, and tons of other things. I thought she was joking because I have no memories of this at all. None. But I called Ashley and she remembers all of this and is confused as to why I don't. And I feel like I'd remember that because Cheyenne and Ashley aren't really friends at all. In fact, they come from two different social circles. They only met because of me. So why wouldn't I remember us all hanging out together? It's pretty strange from that perspective. Next, I was talking to my friend Carrie and I asked her why our friends from high school got divorced. She told me our friend Nicole was never married and she just lived with this guy. But I know Nicole married the guy because she invited me to the wedding and I couldn't get off work to go and I felt really bad about it. I remember where they got married. I remember her dress. I remember what the cake looked like. I remember the pictures of it and everything. But supposedly it never happened. But I remember it happening. I remember seeing the pictures on Facebook. And I went back to look, but there were no pictures on Facebook of that wedding anymore. And finally, my relationship with my boyfriend has always been amazing. We have had our moments like any other couple, but nothing major. We've always had a good relationship, but it has just changed all of a sudden. Literally, I woke up one day and everything was different. He was very hateful, very rude, and not affectionate at all. He's always been very affectionate with me, but now he barely even gives me attention. And this just isn't normal for us. Those are major things, but there's smaller things too, like lyrics to songs being slightly different from when I remember them differently. Especially songs that I love to listen to all the time. They're slightly different now, which I can't explain. I do have anxiety and borderline personality disorder, full disclosure for people who want to know. But I've always been able to manage them and I've never experienced something like this before. I don't think it's my mental illness. I just don't know what to do and I don't like the feeling of this at all. This happened today around 11 a.m. and I've been unable to think of anything else since. A few things that need to be mentioned first is that my home has been under renovation for about 4 months now, and therefore I've been spending a lot of time shopping at Home Depot, which is a home improvement store in my area for those who don't live in the States. And I've been going there at least 4 to 5 times a week, and by this point I'm familiar with most of the employees, and they are familiar with me. 2 is that I always use self-checkout inside of the store and not the garden center or the outdoor checkout, which utilizes a human cashier and is not self-checkout. 3 is that there is a McDonald's located on the route between my house and Home Depot. And here we go. I go to Home Depot today to purchase plumbing supplies. I get what I need, and I go to the outside garden center to grab a couple of bags of potting mix. I decide to check out in the garden center since I'm already out there. The cashier rings me up, and I remove my wallet from my purse to get out my credit card that I want to use. I keep my cards in a certain slot. I have multiple credit and debit cards, so that they are easy to find. However, for some reason, and God only knows why, I can't find this particular Discover card that I was looking for at the time. I fumble around for a moment and apologize to the cashier for taking so long. It's important to note that we are having a conversation about plants while all this is happening. I finally resort to pulling out all of my cards out of their slots that they are in. At this point, I'm in a small panic, and eventually I find the card that I need to pay. I swipe it and put it back in my wallet with the receipts, and at that point I just make a mental note to reorganize my cards when I get home, as they are all out of their slots at this point and jumbled together. Really, it's just a huge mess. I toss the wallet back into my rather large purse and I walk out of the store. The purse is in the child's seat in front of the cart that I'm pushing, and I walk to my car, and as I'm unloading my bags into the trunk, 4 men who are part of a larger group of workers that are always hanging out in the parking lot of Home Depot and Lowe's, another home improvement store, looking for work, approach me asking me if I need help. I tell them no, quite sternly, as they have become quite pushy in the past, and I finish unloading my bags into the trunk. I close the trunk and get into my car with my purse, and I leave. I decide on my way home to stop for a shake at McDonald's. I go through the drive-thru and order. I pull up to the window to pay, and as that happens, I go into full panic mode level 10, as my wallet is not in my purse. I used an emergency 20 that I keep in the visor to pay, and pull over to the parking lot to get out and check the entire car. But nothing. I sped off back to Home Depot. I first go to the garden center to ask the cashier if she has found my wallet, because we are already familiar and we had a decent conversation when I was there for about 10 minutes before, and she remembered me right away, as I just finished paying. She not only tells me that she doesn't have my wallet, she tells me she remembers me putting it back in my bag after getting out the car that I was looking for. I go to the parking lot thinking maybe I dropped it. I check the empty buggies, or the carts in the parking lot I should say, to see if it fell out and to see if I could find my purse, but nothing. I go inside and ask customer service if anybody turned in a wallet, and still nothing. I got back to my car and spent 15 minutes calling banks and creditors, canceling all of my cards that I had in that wallet. I drive home angry and confused. How the hell did my wallet disappear in between me putting it back in my purse after checking out and me getting into my car? I drive home. At this point, I'm considering that either I dropped it in the parking lot or in the cart, or that one of those 4 men that approached me grabbed it while I was being distracted by them asking me for work. Neither of these men seemed likely, as I had my purse very close to me, and I think it would have been very difficult for them to do that. A wallet can't fall out of a zipped purse, and it would have been very difficult to sneak up behind me and unzip my purse and grab the wallet and zip the purse closed that quickly without me noticing anything from these guys. Those are, however, the only 2 possibilities that I can come up with in my head. I get out of my car and grab my bag from the trunk and walk into the house. And lo and behold, my wallet is sitting on the kitchen table. And I'm just thinking to myself, what the hell? I must have turned pale as a ghost. I could feel the color drain from my face, literally. How in the absolute hell did my wallet get into my house and on the kitchen table? I thought maybe that I never had my wallet with me for a little bit, but then I remembered digging through it at the cashier station at Home Depot. If I hadn't had my wallet with me, I wouldn't have been able to pay with a credit card that I ended up paying with. The cashier even remembers me fumbling through the wallet, looking for that specific card, the Discover card, and then tossing it back in my wallet and then in my purse. I thought maybe I was mixing up my days and maybe I purchased something at a later date, and that is when I checked out of the garden center, which I never do. I ran every possible scenario in my mind to try to explain why I found this wallet in the house when I remember it clearly with me the entire time and then losing it. But I can't explain anything. To make things even worse and more inexplicable, when I opened up my wallet, the cards were tossed about and not in their respective slots, as if I had tossed them looking for my Discover card when I checked out. And that really sent chills down my spine. The damn receipt from Home Depot with a date on it was even in the wallet with my credit cards all jumbled together from the purchase that I made earlier that day. And no, I did not go home and bring just my wallet inside and put it on the table for no reason and then leave again forgetting about it. I think I would have remembered something like that. Also, I would have no reason for doing this. I would have carried my entire purse inside with me, and if anything, I would have left my wallet inside of my purse, and I wouldn't have taken it out because I didn't have a reason to take it out inside of my house. I usually just have my wallet inside of my purse and leave it there until I go somewhere and I need to use it. And there's no way that I would have just not seen that wallet in my purse with the amount of times that I stopped and looked for it, especially after I went to McDonald's. I looked through my car, I looked through my purse, I looked everywhere, and I couldn't find anything. So I know this isn't some kind of a thing in my head or some figment of my imagination. This really happened, and I just want to clarify that for people in the comments section. Has anybody else experienced the random raindrop phenomenon? I was just thinking about a semi-related topic, and it struck me suddenly that I felt random water drops a few times in my life, both indoors and outside in perfectly clear weather. So anybody else ever been hit by unexplainable drops of water? To those saying that it's only bird pee, as far as I know, birds urinate and defecate at the same time through one main waste chute. You would be very aware if it was bird poo. I've definitely had bird crap on me before when I was a kid, and I'm not saying that so people make fun of me, but I know what the difference is between that and this raindrop phenomenon, which is pretty mysterious in my mind.